It's Lord Rick. We're still in Apple Hill. We're in a place called 9 Mile House Cemetery. Some call it Hartwick Cemetery, Hamilton Cemetery, Crystal Springs Cemetery, and last of all, Camino Cemetery, since downtown Camino is just a mile from here. And of course, it has a nice memorial at the entrance. In 1857 was the first burial. Thomas Hartwick bought the property, however, allowed him to run a tavern here, but he was not able to make the cemetery private, even though a lot of his family members are buried here. You can see here's a John Hartwick, and the Hartwicks, you know, they were active in this community all the way until the 1990s. 1965 and 1975, Brother Frank and Reverend Charles Hartwick, they tried to acquire it as a private cemetery. Eventually, it was sold to the Larsons, who own the Larson Apple Orchards. From 1965 to 1984, there's been 11 burials. These are all Hartwicks. It was a very large family. This area was home to a tavern, often called the 9 Mile House or the Hartwick House. It had a barn, a blacksmith, a couple mercantiles, a nice lavish inn, stables for your horses, and this resides along City Hall. This resides along the old Pony Express, the road from Genoa to Placerville. And of course, you know, that road, I mean, we're in Pony Express territory, and that road became very well known, you know, back before trains and came through the area, and mail delivery trucks and planes, they transported their mail via horse. At the same time, many people would come through here, immigrants on their wagon trains. They would die due to the harsh weather or illness, and this is where they would bury them. And you can see a lot of big trees. The cemetery goes all the way back. It's a place I'm going to get some EMF readings, some EVPs, and I definitely want to take some photos. But it's, you know, it's kind of in disrepair. There's a lot of, like, for example, the fencing here is crumbling. And you can see the old barn. But the immigrants would come here right on the cemetery site. They would come, and they would stay at the inn, and they would put their horses in the stables for the night. So there's a lot of history. This is Pony Express territory history. And even though there's residents on every end and, you know, ranches, it's still a wonderful place. It's a wonderful place to admire, to photograph, and videotape, to add in with our Apple Hill. Wasn't so successful with Bigfoot evidence, although I made a videotape of it, of some fence, just mangled and twisted and pulled up, and there's spikes on the bottom, and they were all bent, and it just, you could see something was scraping the apples, getting the apples. No animal could do that, but I am thinking that Bigfoot would obviously use the orchards around here, and the heavy foliage of Pollock pine just a couple miles up into the higher Sierras to remain elusive. And you can see it's kind of overgrown. There is a lot of graves here. He said that there's room still for 100, and they also say there's many that are unmarked. For example, the coffin caved in here, it's all caved in. So it's, you know, it's quite the cemetery. And I thought you'd like to see a video of it, and hopefully we get some good EVPs. I mean, we can investigate ghosts during the day as much as at night and still get really good unusual shots or EVPs. Anyways, check us out at www.paranormalghostsociety.org. You are standing on a Pony Express cemetery. And we don't know if it's haunted, but I'll tell you what, it is a great historical wonder in the Apple Hill area. This is Lord Rick.